Welcome, students. Welcome. Please have a seat. Have a seat. Have a seat. Thank you. Today we shall be looking at woodworking, specifically making a spoon. Now, we're going to discuss the calming effects of woodworking. This, as you can all see, is an olive wood spoon. Now, the imperfections in the spoon highlight one particular difficulty of working with olive wood. If you want a spoon that is perfect, free of imperfections, olive wood is not the way to go. But it is a very traditional wood. A completed spoon, such as this one, although far from attractive to look at, is absolutely functional. And it has its own charm, as no two olive wood spoons will ever look alike. The spoon itself is easier to make than most people believe it is. Now, individuals get into trouble because they try to use traditional knives in order to carve the spoons. You need an actual set of woodworking knives or carving knives specifically made for making different sections of the spoon. For example, a wide crescent-shaped knife is used for making the bowl. If you try to use a traditional knife, it will be an exercise in utility, in frustration. You will get upset, you will get angry, and those feelings will be transferred onto the spoon. Now, as terrible as this olive wood spoon might first appear to be, it is functional. And that is a metaphor for all of the people you will meet in your life. As terrible or ugly as they may seem to be on the outside, they are perfectly good and wonderful human beings on the inside. And like this spoon, absolutely functional. And in many ways, like this spoon, unique. You will not find two which are completely alike. Even with identical twins, there is always a difference. A spoon like this is functional. It is not the prettiest. It is sometimes ugly, but it is functional. And even when you encounter people in life who are broken, they can still be functional. I am not sure if any of you can see this. Allow me to try to show you. Yes. As you can see, the orange background is coming through. Unfortunately, with the imperfections in the wood of this spoon, we can see that it does have an elongated hole in it. Yes, this spoon has a very narrow sliver of a hole in it. It can be difficult to see, but it is there. Unfortunately, there's the orange background clearly seen through the hole. Now that does not mean that this spoon all of a sudden becomes worthless. Oh no. As you can see, the spoon is solid. The spoon still retains a great deal of functionality. This spoon can easily be used to stir a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or anything else you would like to stir. Now, is it completely functional? Well, no, because it has a small hole in it. But it is not worthless. There are many human beings who are broken, who are far from perfect. That does not make them worthless. They are still, in many ways, functional. And that is what matters. Human beings, like this spoon, still have value. They are still functional. They can still do many things for you. Do not discount the friend, neighbor, associate, co-worker, or family member simply because they are not 100% functional. Life is full of individuals who are not 100% functional. They have struggles, they have issues, but it is important to keep in mind that just as with this spoon, that does not mean that they are worthless. The spoon still has value as a spoon, even with a tiny hole in it. People still have value, even if they are not completely perfect. And what is perfection? Is it someone who does everything the right way? Well, no one does everything the right way. Is it someone who always makes the right decisions in life? Such an individual does not exist. Is it someone who can admit to others that they lack perfection, but then does that make them completely imperfect? This spoon lacks perfection. It will never be perfect, but that does not mean that it has no value. Please keep that in mind. When it comes to creating something like this, We do not look for perfection. After all, when you use traditional olive wood, the wood itself lacks perfection. There will be issues with the wood, different colors. There will be knots in the wood. There will be portions that need to be sanded down. As you can see, this bowl is not perfect. It is not perfectly symmetrical. But even though it lacks perfection, it is still useful as a spoon. This spoon was created by an individual who is far from perfect. The wood used is far from perfect, but in the end, an absolutely functional spoon was created. The end result lacks perfection, but the same can be said of human beings. Can any of you say that you were created by two perfect human beings? Can any of you say that they had no flaws, no faults? Or, as with this spoon, created by an imperfect individual from imperfect wood, are you too not imperfect? Does that make you less of a human being? Does that make the spoon less of a spoon? Of course not. When you carve a spoon, keep in mind that perfection is not necessary. All that is necessary is a desire to create something useful, pragmatic, something that is good. The spoon is good. Does it require perfection? No. It can be used even with a tiny hole in it for a great many things that don't require perfection. They just require getting the job done. So please keep that in mind as you create your spoons. As long as you have a desire to make a good spoon, it does not need to be perfect. Very few things in life, like this spoon, are ever gonna be perfect. That does not mean they do not have value. Now, some of you are already signed up for the advanced class. That's good to see. We will be making kuksas in the advanced class. I look forward to seeing some of you there. Thank you, and please keep in mind what I said. Perfection is not needed.